Next thing, of course, is the whole national pride thing, where in America you feel like you drive by a normal suburban street and every garden has like the Star Spangled Banner in front of it. Maybe not every, I'm over exaggerating here, but it's national pride is a very good thing and a very open thing in America. And even though it's a bit too much for me sometimes, it annoys me sometimes, I like that you guys like your country. That's what you should do. You should be allowed to feel at home and feel comfortable and feel like your country is great because it's your home, and you like your home. I like my home. I think it's a bit sad if you don't. And the thing is that in Germany, because of our history and because everybody keeps telling us to feel bad, we are really, really scared to show national pride, which, again, I think is sad because I don't feel like being patriotic, if you don't overdo it, automatically means you're a nationalist. I don't think my country's better than other countries, but I like my country and it's my home, and I might like a friend's house better than my house because it's bigger or because the garden is nicer or because I really like my friend's parents or something, but that will never change the fact that my home is my home and it will always have a special something that no other house can offer. And I feel like it should be the same with your country. You can't criticize it. You should criticize it. I don't think there's anything worse than not criticizing yourself and things that you are involved with. Keep your eyes open for God's sakes. But I really don't like that the only occasion that Germans dare to take their flag out is during soccer events. And then many people tend to overdo it, like, aha, now we're allowed to do it. And then it always turns into this whole, we're gonna get back at you now for not letting us be proud of Germany. It's, if you want to do it, do it. That's something I don't like. That even within Germany, if you say, I like Germany, I like this and this and that, and I think this is better in Germany than in wherever, there will be Germans that look at you like, you're a bit right-wing, aren't you? It's just, I find it frustrating is what I'm saying. Another part of our mentality that is very different, I feel, is that we keep a certain distance to strangers because they're strangers. Completely unconnected to how they act towards us. A stranger is a stranger. You will be polite, because you're not supposed to be rude to people. But we keep a certain careful distance because you don't know what to expect from people. Whereas in America, I feel like you have this superficial friendliness towards everybody. And it can be a very nice thing because you feel like, you bump into somebody, you just say sorry. The other person says sorry, it doesn't matter whose fault it was, you just, you walk on, that's it. In Germany, if you bump into somebody and you actually say sorry, you might get a look that tells you, yeah, damn right you are. I personally feel like there's this constant tension, not with everybody, but it's like, you just kind of walk by and he's strange and you don't greet people and it's kind of, I don't know you don't know me, let's keep it that way, And again, I don't feel like Germans are an unfriendly people, but you have to get, you have to break the ice first, and that can be a bit hard if you're used to other things. The good thing is that I feel when you really get to know somebody, when you warm up with somebody, you can be pretty sure that that's going to be at least relatively permanent, That person has then become your friend. While as in America, it's happened to me like a few times that, because I'm used to this way of things that I don't always approve of, but because I'm used to it, it's happened to me before that I put a certain trust into people because they were being friendly with me, and I ended up being disappointed because I expected too much from it because I was like, this is my friend, or at least a good acquaintance. While as the other person, it's just, you're friendly, you feel good about it, and then I guess what I'm saying is that it can be, I won't even try to judge, which way is better. Of course, the German thing is what I grew up with, what I'm used to, and I see the good sides, I see the bad sides, because, there's two sides to everything. It takes off the tension when you know that you can count on most people being friendly, but you really don't know. For a foreigner, it's hard to judge where that border is, where that person actually becomes your friend and isn't just being friendly. I feel like, it helps a lot to just be aware of this for both Germans going to America and Americans coming to Germany, because I feel like it can cause a lot of confusion. And I've actually talked about this with Americans before. Also, an American that was here, and she actually confirmed that whole theory I had about that thing. So yeah, I really feel like I find it interesting that there's such a big difference in the mentality, or let's say like the way you interact with people. Then a bit more of an interesting topic to a lot of you maybe is our legal ages. We can, we're always jealous of you guys because you can drive at 16, but by now I know that there's really no reason to be jealous, because instead we can drink beer and wine and bubbles at 16, and we can drink basically anything else at 18, which is also the age that we are allowed to drive. We're of legal age when we're 18, and that's also the age that we can drink at. Also, drinking really isn't that badly regulated here. And sometimes, I used to make this joke that, the whole drinking issue is actually more regulated and a lot more dramatic than some actual criminal charges in America. It's like, don't you drink before you're 21, otherwise you're gonna blow up. Here, it's kind of sick actually, because you're allowed to drink beer and that kind of stuff, so low percentage stuff. At 16, there are teenagers that, already drink on a regular basis at like 14 or even earlier in certain social structures or whatever. And I feel like we have, those wild college parties and everything that happens even earlier here, because it's just possible a lot earlier, and because things aren't as, the alcohol really isn't that hard to come by, and if you don't really, if you don't piss on a police car or go into the police station like, hey, I'm drunk. What they do is, they go through bars and throw out people that are not 18 yet at midnight, because there are laws for that. But that's pretty much all the regulation you get there. So when I said everything's regulated, that's actually not universally true. So it's not always about the rules. But then again, there's other times, I've had an English friend of mine point out to me, you really only cross the street when the green man is on, don't you? And we do. We really do. I don't know what it is with us. I don't feel comfortable crossing the street when the red light is on. I don't know, it's just, you're raised not to like that. Another thing, I've had people on web chat ask me if I was drinking vodka in the middle of the day when I took one of these out. The reason being, we have, water in glass bottles is pretty common here, especially carbonated water, which is another very German thing. People always look at me strange when I was in America for a few weeks and I really needed my carbonated water because I needed it. It's so expensive. Why is it so expensive? People would always look at me strange, and even within Europe, apparently. There's this one Italian guy who was like, yeah, that's a very German thing, isn't it? I don't know. We just, we drink carbonated water, and we also don't put that much ice in our drinks. You will get ice in your drink in a restaurant, or that kind of thing. But it's not normal for people to have ice around the house to put in their drinks. It's just not. We don't do that. So yeah, that's just a kind of rounding things up. I'm sure there's more differences, especially tiny little detail differences. This is just the stuff I could think of, and I thought it might be interesting. And yeah, maybe if I can think of a lot more things, there might be a sequel in the future, I don't know. But yeah, I hope this was informative and not too boring. And yeah, we'll get back to learning German next week. Bis nächste Woche. Tschüss!